You all heard that term, son of a sharecropper? You know, a lot of folks wondering, what the heck is a sharecropper? Well, for all of those who don't know what a sharecropper is, let me enlighten you this morning. You heard people like James Brown, son of a sharecropper. Marion Barry, son of a sharecropper. Now, Robert Gatewood, son of a sharecropper too. You know, back in the day when slavery ended, a lot of slaves didn't have many options. They couldn't go back and put on their 401k. They couldn't pull money out of their retirement. They couldn't go into their savings account. They didn't have any kind of pension plan. Didn't have any rich relatives. So how in the heck was a slave supposed to start a company or get started? So what happened, many of them just had to stay on the land they were already on. So slavery really didn't end in 1865. It just kind of took on a new countenance. So that's where sharecropping came from. There was basically two kinds of sharecropping. There was where the landowner would rent the land to the I don't want to say slave, to the former slave. He would rent it to him for a flat fee. So for a certain amount of money, he would pay every month to the landowner to crop the land, to turn the fields into product, whether it's cotton, tobacco, sugarcane, or whatever. And he would pay a flat rent to the owner of the land. A second kind of sharecropping was the owner would share the profits. So the owner would pay for everything. He would pay for the feed and the seed and the land itself, and then he and the sharecropper would get together at the end of the year, and then they would settle up. Or sometimes they do it on a quarterly basis or monthly basis, depending on what kind of arrangement they made. People like myself, whose parents were sharecroppers, we cropped the field, we worked the fields. So we would pick cotton. We'd have these long cotton sacks around, burlap sacks around our neck going down the field, and into the row we'd dump the cotton in a big old burlap sack. In the springtime you would chop the cotton. I mean, you take the hoe, a hoe with a tool, and then you chop the weed from around the stalk, and then in the fall you would harvest. Take that cotton, pick it, and put it in a bale, and then they would sell up. So that's sharecropping. People ask me that all the time. What is a sharecropper? What's sharecropping? Well, now you know. It wasn't a very lucrative, nobody got rich doing sharecropping. But what it did, though, it instilled a sense of entrepreneurship in former slaves. So if there was ever any positive that came out of it, there was a sense of, I'm going to make this work for me. Because you had to learn how to, you had to understand the numbers. And you also had to have a sense of understanding what profit meant. So that was if there was anything positive that came out of sharecropping. Anyway, enough about sharecropping. Thing we're going to talk about quickly today, we're going to talk about your logo. If you don't have a logo, first of all, get one. Get yourself a logo. Your logo is your brand, it's your mark. It lets people know who you are, so when they see that brand or that mark, they immediately can identify with you and your service. You see the big M's on McDonald's. You see that you could be in Timbuktu. You see those big M's, you know there's a tasty hot hamburger somewhere around. Now tasty could be up for debate, but at least you know there was a fast burger somewhere within your reach. Same thing, you see the FedEx sign, you see the UPS truck, you see the BET symbol. You know what those symbols represent. So you, as a business owner, you have to get your own mark. And what can you do with it once you get it? Well, the first thing you do, put it on your business card. See that Gatewood mark? That's my mark. That's Gatewood marketing. That stands for Gatewood. Anytime somebody sees that, they know that there's going to be some fast, affordable marketing and effective marketing within their grasp. You can also put it on things like your promotional materials. See this nice MPI? That's for our radio show, Marketing Pulpit International. So you're handing out your cups and things when you go to trade shows. Makes a great handout, but guess what? It's not quite as effective if you don't have your logo and mark on it. You can write your name on there, of course, but that mark make a much better impression. On these pencils here, that also has my logo on it. These things make great handouts. Of course, and they're much more effective once you have your brand or your logo or your mark on it. Another use is your online presence. When you go to the website, most websites now, it's a pretty standard format. You see the up in the left corner, there's usually like a logo, and then there's the header, then there's the content underneath. Well, if you don't have a logo, let me tell you, your website is going to look a little naked right off the bat. Of course, you can print your name up there and find a nice font, but why not go ahead and get yourself a brand, a mark, a logo? Has all kind of benefits, some that I won't mention today, but just know, if you can't get one, give me a call. Go to my company, Gatewood Marketing, send me a note. Be glad to talk to you about getting yourself a mark, a logo for your company. Finally, today, we want to talk about sales. I want to talk about sales. If you started a business thinking, well, I'm going to start this company so I don't have to get into sales anymore, so I can kind of sit back and relax a little bit, I will never have to sell again. That's what a lot of people think. That's a major mistake, because, boy, the day you become a business owner, that's when the sales really, your sales requirement really starts, because you become like the salesman in chief, the head honcho of sales. You have to sell that company more than anybody else. So let me quickly tell you some of the number one things of sales. Number one is the benefit selling. Feature benefit selling. You have to understand the benefits of what your company brings to the table, or your service, or your product. What problem is it solving? What need is it addressing? That's not just for selling, like going person to person. That's also for your website, for your ads, for anything you're doing. You have to understand the benefits. So slow down for a minute. Go into a corner this morning. Ask yourself. I want you to go into, close the room, turn the lights off, and say, what need am I fulfilling? What problem am I solving for the people who use my service? If you can't answer that question, then I say hang on to your day job. But don't you just love a good old Friday, Good Friday marketing? It's like a good old hot cup of coffee. So we're kind of wrapping up the week. Also, these are some of the things we're going to talk about on the radio show, on the Marketing Pulpit, which I have a show on Radio 1 every Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'll be leaving here, going over to Radio 1 in Silver Spring in about 15 minutes. I'll be on the road. But I want to impart some tips before I hit the road, because it's the pre-show. But let's talk about sales for a minute. Let me give you an example. Let me give you a vivid example how this feature benefit selling thing works. Let's take something as simple as this pencil. I'm going to give you the difference between features and benefits. You must know the difference. It is benefits that sell. Features just are an inherent description of the features of a product or service. This pencil in particular is yellow. That is a feature. That's not a benefit. This pencil is about 7 inches long. That is a feature, not a benefit. This pencil has an eraser. Feature, not benefit. It also says this pencil was made in the USA. This is you got it, it's a feature, not a benefit. So let's just say you fell on hard times and you had to go out here and sell pencils for a living. Man, sometimes I wonder. I keep a couple of pencils at the ready, just in case. You never can be too sure. Sometimes, man, this economy can take a dive, so I keep my couple pencils at the ready. But let's just have to go out and sell these yellow pencils. It is the benefits that's going to help you move those pencils. So instead of saying, I have a yellow pencil, what you're going to say is that I have a pencil that's easily findable in this junk drawer I have. So when I take this junk drawer and I look down in here and I see all this junk, see how that pencil, that yellow pencil just stands out? It just jumps right out at you. All right, that's a benefit. So yellow is not just a pretty color. Yellow is also a benefit when it comes to selling a pencil. Also, the fact that it's 7 inches long, we would call that a benefit because it has a long writing life. That is a benefit. It has an eraser. This thing has such a, think about it, this eraser corrects its own mistakes. This pencil corrects its own mistakes. That is a benefit. So not just an eraser, it's a device that is easy to find, has a long writing life, it corrects its own mistakes. And finally, I see right here that it's made in the USA. Not only does this thing easy to find, have a long writing life, corrects its own mistakes, it also creates jobs and improves the U.S. economy. So what I want you to do today, this is your assignment, is to sit back and think about your service. I don't care what it is you're selling. I want you to think about it. Just take a piece of paper and write down what problems does that service solve. What are the benefits of your product or service? Now, there's about 5 reasons that people buy anything. Just want you to know that. You think there's a million of them, but there's only about 5. If you're going to make somebody some money or save them some money, some type of physical need, it's going to be some type of security apparatus, it's going to be some type of a convenience or pleasure, or the 5th one, which is the mother of all benefits, is the desire to belong. We call that social proof. I'm going to do a whole segment on that called social proof coming up on one of the next broadcasts. So that's your marketing tips for today. I'm Robert Gatewood. You can catch me on gatewoodmarketing.com. You can also, don't forget to tune into the show today. Go to marketingpulpit.com and listen. Click the listen button on the right side, and you can tune in after 10:30 today. So go to marketingpulpit.com. I'll be joined by my co-host, Linda Southern, former DC, and branding guru, William Maxwell. That's Robert Gatewood. This is your Friday morning marketing pre-show. Guess what?